It's Adams here on behalf of Apex Trader Funding. I'm here with Tim. Tim, welcome today. How are you doing?
Hey, nice to meet you. I'm doing great. Um, I just got in a trade this morning, and it typical is jumped against me real quick, and it hit my indicator. And I was thinking, before I talk about trading, I really don't want to have a trading loss. And then popped right back up, and I made $56 on the trade, and I closed it. And I like to trade in the morning, and I don't try to make a home runs on all my trades. My typical trade is, 75, 100, $200. It's pretty small.
Excellent. Yeah, I know a lot of the guys, one of the consistent things we keep seeing is that slow and steady. Don't, yeah, you're going to get the big ones. You're going to get some nice trend moves and things like that. But for the most part, it really is just that focus on that slow and steady. So I'm seeing a lot of consistency in that. So, well, that's everybody's got their routine, and I think a lot of for a lot of people, it really is nice to have that really that moment of regain your clarity and get back into the right headspace if need be as you're going through the process. So now, how long have you been trading, Tim?
Oh, this is a tough one. You're just gonna make me sound really old. But I've been trading. I'm gonna say 40 years, but it's been more than that.
Wow.
My wife's been here for 15 years now. She's from Thailand, and I'll have like a really bad day sometime, and I'll start telling her, and she'll go, "Well, it's okay," and she'll just go on. I mean, she's real supportive, and
Right.
I think that's one of the big things too. If you're trading, your spouse, needs to be supportive, because you're gonna have ups and downs.
I'm
But
I'm
I really do like these prep shops.
Yeah, I'm one to say that I think that's important in anything that you do, and I see a lot of people that leave trading, especially when they're trading their own accounts, and they lose 1,000, $1,500, and that hits the spouse the wrong way, and maybe they don't believe in trading, maybe they just don't have a full understanding of how the markets work, and that look, there's no perfect strategy, nothing's going to win every day every time.
Yeah,
And sometimes you just get that one that's kind of a bigger hit, and a lot of times you'll find spouses that just say, what, I don't like this, I'm not feeling it anymore, and I, for me, I know that's one of the things that some of the people that I've talked to, but they love about the funding companies, which of course we'll kind of get into, is that you have a pretty negative day, and it might cost you $100 to set up a new eval, or you might have to do a reset for $80 or something like that. But it's just not that big hit, that emotional hit that can not only hit the trader but the trader's family.
yes, I agree. Trading with the prop firms is really more like having an option, because you're really limited on how much you can lose. You can lose what you paid for the valuation, but I
Yeah.
mean, really, it's not your money. You're not down $700 for the day. It's just and if you're having a really bad day, you really start sweating if it's 700 of your money compared to if I blow this evaluation.
Right.
I just started a new 25K Monday with the sale price. I mean, you can't beat $29, okay? And so and so and so I'm up $150 on it in 2 days, and I'm up 10%, and that's the way I trade. I trade pretty small, and I
Mhm.
try to get consistent, and I treat it like it's real money, but I mean it's an evaluation,
Right.
and everybody's different. I've got buddies that go, well, I'm a 3-lot trader, and I trade three minis, or I'm a 3-lot trader and I trade three Nasdaqs, and I mean, and they hit some really beautiful trades, but I mean, they have some roller coaster too.
Sure. Well, and that's the thing, how big you play is how big you win, how big you lose, and everybody's got a different stomach for that. And I think that's when it comes to trading, people have to figure out what works for them. There's no one size fits all. There's no perfect strategy. There's no perfect scenario, and for what works for one person may not work for somebody else, and vice versa.
Yeah, yeah. You've got to adapt. Your whole trading strategy's got to be based on your personality. And my personality, I'll get in, and I'm just basically a micro trader I trade a micro ES. And I've traded the NASDAQ, the micro NASDAQ, and a big NASDAQ. But if something major happens, like some kind of news, the NASDAQ spread gets kind of wide.
Mhm.
And I mean, I could get through my stop pretty hard. So the for me, I like it relaxed. The micro ES, I mean, I can make 50, 100, $200 a day. You know, big day, I'll have $400 a day. But it just suits me. And typically I trade 2 hours a day and
Right.
I'm done and I go out and I enjoy life. And if you're going to do this for 40 years, you're going to have to, you're going to have to enjoy life.
Exactly. Well, that's part of the point. People don't necessarily want to do the 40 to 60 hour a week work week, and trading gives people an opportunity not only to add to their income, but in many cases replace it, because the way you make more money
Yeah.
trading is not necessarily trading more hours. You can scale up
Yeah, that's
more
true.
content. Once you're consistent, that opportunity
Yeah.
becomes the way that you earn more, and it takes no more work. It's just a different strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that people using the trade copier at
Mhm.
Apex and the places I've been before. You couldn't trade more than one account,
Mhm.
but that trade copier looks really interesting. I see a guy on YouTube and he's doing a 10 contract challenge, and
Mhm.
he's trying to make 100,000 because when he started the challenge, you could only make 10,000 per account, but and without doing a 90%, you know, uh, you making 90 and Apex making 10.
Mhm.
So he's doing this challenge, and the rules have changed a little since he started the challenge, and now you can make 25,000. That's amazing to me that you can make 25,000 per account
Right.
and keep 100%. I
As of
mean,
yesterday.
that really affected me. That really affected me, and I'm like, wow. And I posted it all over my Facebook. I'm like, wow. I mean, I loved Apex, and I really love Apex now. The little shorter times on the getting evaluated. I know some of my buddies that really affects them, but it don't affect me because I'm patient. I go for when I've got to pay again. So if I pay $29 and I don't have to pay again, okay, I got basically 20 trading days. I try to pass that evaluation in 20 trading days. And I paid $29 for it. This one, and I just got the payout on. I got it 60% off. I paid $45. And that's all I paid for it.
Right.
And I mean, you can't beat it. You pay $45 for evaluation, and then you do your funded account, and I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, 40 years ago when I started trading, I would really have a significant amount of money now if I had this opportunity.
Right.
And the new traders now, that's just an unbelievable opportunity that you can trade somebody else's money and have almost no risk. I mean, you got $100 risk. I mean, you got no risk, and for your evaluation, or whatever. But you can trade somebody else's money and keep the first 25,000 of it. I mean, that's unreal.
Right.
And then once you get funded, the fact that your stop no longer trails. I mean, it's identical to your personal account. I mean, you're like on my 25K, the stop is at 25,100 and it stays there. And if you build an account to 40,000, the stop is still at 25,100.
Mhm.
So you can trade a lot bigger contracts. I mean, a lot bigger size. I can move on up into the ES, and you can trade up to 4 big contracts.
Right.
It's just a lot of potential,
A lot of
and
opportunity.
I see a lot of people making it too. I mean, if you go to the Apex Trader homepage and you go down there and click that bottom link where it says payouts,
Mhm.
and you look and see what people are getting paid. Oh, it's just amazing. I mean, I was watched one guy for November, and he's got 20 accounts, and
Mhm.
he's taking out 3,500 per account. So he's taking out like $70,000 for November.
Right.
Okay, and you think, well, maybe the guy, maybe like me, you think, well, maybe the guy didn't do nothing the rest of the time. He saved up his money. I went back and looked, and he took out 50,000 last month. And I went back and looked because before you could go back a year, and I went back and looked, and he's nailing it every month.
Right.
And I'm like, it competition. I mean, some guys just really, really trade good,
Right.
and anybody can get good because I mean, it's a lot of potential, and the information is out there. How to trade, and then you got to work on your personality, and And I think it's really important to, log what you did today so that I take screenshots of my trades. And if the market's in a little iffy spot where I'm not sure which way it's going to go, I'll take a screenshot and I'll look and see, what happened. And, but you've got plenty of room to improve as you're trading. And I know what the reason I quit early, I know what triggers me. If I make $200 in the morning and I'm trading along and I come back at 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I lose my $200, all I want is that $200 back. So it affects my trading, and I'll start trading bigger and bigger size and trying to get my money back. So now what I do, this solved my problem. I just added another account. So
Right.
if I got two in this one account, I quit. It's done. Okay, I go to a new account, and I'm okay if my new account goes down 50 or 100, $200, whatever. But I didn't lose my money that I had. It's just a little thing I do.
So this brings up a question that I ask everybody, psychologically speaking, and I think you kind of already answered this. Is there a difference in how you manage your trades, how you manage your accounts, knowing that this is a PA versus your personal funds?
Oh yes, yes. I've traded my personal funds, and like I said, it's a really big difference because on my personal funds, I would take way too much risk, and overall I did good, but I would hold the trade overnight that I was losing in,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd get up there all during the night and run to look at the computer and say, I'm down 200, I'm down 2,000. I mean, where am I at?
Mm-hmm.
And really, it was just stress, and I love like these. I had to get used to the controlling risk a lot better with prop firms, and really having to be out before the close. I mean, that's a great thing because usually if you lose and something bad is going to happen to you in the night. I mean, it's just the market gets less liquid and something bad can happen.
It's
So
it's it's a scary idea walking away from a trade, and I think I've never kept a trade overnight, but and I think for specifically that reason, I don't think I could sleep. I'd want to know what was going on. It would be rambling through my head, and yeah. So I think
yeah,
that as the rules go, and I've always said the rules are designed to make you a better trader, not
that's true.
to get you out of your account. And
That's true.
if you follow the rules, the consistency, the structure of the rules really mimic the things that most of us were taught, or at least should have been taught when we first started trading. In terms of keeping trades overnight, in terms of chasing, in terms of taking that break when when you have a rough day or a rough run. Sometimes you just need that pattern interrupt and you need to stop completely. And to me, that's what, closing out that PA and having to do a new evaluation does, is it forces you to stop. You have no choice. And then
Yeah,
by the time you're working towards money again, you just had a win. You had to pass that evaluation. So you psychologically, you're on a win. You're back into to the right mindset to trade successfully. So.
yeah, I agree. I've really learned a lot about controlling risk, and some of my buddies, they were complaining that they thinking at another prop shop they could pass the test faster and they could pass the evaluation faster. And I told them, I said, no, you can't. And they started arguing with me, and of course they opened up a account at the shop, and they paid about 5 times as much money as you pay at Apex for the same size account. And I told him the basically the drawdowns are too tight. I said, you'll fail, you won't pass.
Right.
And he did fail. And then he redid the account and paid all that money again, and he failed again. And so now he's just tickled to death because Apex just changed the rules, and he run over here and bought 3 accounts, and he bought the trade copier, and he's on a better plan. I tried to tell him that with the drawdown that tight, even if you pass and get funded, which I did at one of those, you're not going to keep it long because your daily limits are just way too tight.
Right.
Yeah, Apex is real generous with the some people don't like the trailing drawdown, but for me it's transparent because I don't stay in my trades too long, and I definitely don't let one back up $1,500. You know,
Right. Now, let's go back to the first time you ever started looking at a funding company, a prop firm, or the first time you even really saw these. Now, what was your initial thought on the concept of trading somebody else's money? Did you have any skepticism, or were you already somewhat familiar with the process?
no, since it's futures and futures are regulated pretty well. I know a lot about the futures market. I don't do forex because I know years ago it wasn't regulated that well, and I don't do the Bitcoin. I like the futures because I know they're regulated. So I figured the companies had to be some pretty good oversight. So I started with a company, and when I started with, they had a two-step evaluation, and I made it through the two steps, and I was fixing to go into the pro account, and they had this pro account that you could actually trade and take the first $5,000 out, even though it's simulated. And I'm like, oh, that's a great deal. Okay. Right as I was starting to get into it, they changed it. You couldn't do that anymore because too many people was just taking the 5,000 and running.
Yeah. Now,
But
move now. So you're at this point. You've got two accounts now. I think you said you just passed your second one, or you just got your second one.
I've got a 25K I've had since early in the year, and I took one withdrawal from that already. And what I did is I decided I was going to go to some bigger accounts. So I took when you had one of those sales, a big sale, I did three of the 150 accounts.
Right.
And I said, well, I'm not going to trade in the market the same time in any of them. I'm going to trade them all three separate in case I blow up one. And I was trading the ES, and I got each account up to like $7,000. And if I would have traded them, I shouldn't have done three of them. I should have just did one. If I'd have traded one of them, I would have passed really quick. But I got all of them up to about 7,000, and I was running out of time because those sales weren't as good as the sales now. It was going to go back up to the higher price, and so I just yo-yoed them, and I went in there pretty big, and I killed three of them, and so that ate up right much of my time. So then I went back to a 50K, and I passed it, and that's what I just got the payout on. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm alternating them. I'm taking a payout on the 25, and the next month I'm taking the payout on a 50.
Right.
And right now, I just got a thing from Deal. I don't know if you can see it or not, but
Yeah.
I got another one coming.
All right. Well, we get
Uh,
to do this again next month. That's
yeah, we could do this again. But I
exciting.
got another $1,000 one coming, and what I'm doing is I'm building my 50K up to take a withdrawal in December, and I've got it at $1,900 and some dollars now, so it's climbing. And so what I do during the day, I just alternate through my account, so I'm never in the market with all of them at one time.
Sure.
But
Sure.
but but since I'm starting to see that trade copier, I didn't realize you could do that, and
Right.
that is a great deal. If
It is, and I think this is how a lot of people will spread out that risk so that
yeah,
the accounts don't get hit with one big move either way. Well, that's awesome. Well, if you were talking to somebody who just learned that funding exists and that people can actually trade other people's money, trade Apex Trader funding money, what advice would you give somebody just starting to go down this road?
I would tell them to slow down, to take it easy. Concentrate on this 25K. Do the 25K. Learn to walk and learn to stand up and to walk before you try to run. Everybody gets in there and goes, well, I didn't got but $30 in it, so I'm gonna do 5 of these and I'm gonna see if I can make it. Okay, even if you make it, you're not gonna make it long.
Right.
So I would say take the 25K, trade micros, shoot for $50, $100 a day. And you make that, turn your computer off. Enjoy the rest of your day. Come back the next day. If you do $150 a day, 10 days, you've made your 1,500, you've got a funded account.
Right.
It beats blowing up and back and forth and back, and all the stress is involved too.
Mm-hmm.
And really, really, if you trade too big a size, you can't learn how to trade because you're sitting there going, "But he went 200 against me," and it's and you start sweating. You're not learning anything. You're, you know, if you trade in a micro and it's $20 against you, you can go, hey, I might be wrong, and when it comes back to this level, I'm gonna swap sides, or you can adjust your as you're trading. And if you put on a micro, let's say you put on a 5 lot, and it's going your direction, and you get a better signal, and you're saying, well, my odds are a lot better now. Okay, you can add 5 more, and that's the better way to play.
Right. I think that the psychology is definitely muted when you're trading a funded account versus your own money, but it doesn't completely eliminate it. So I think that slow and steady helps manage that trader psychology, manage that need to chase, that need to make up for, whatever you feel like you need to make up for, and the consistency is key. And I think that that's been a pretty constant commentary from everybody who's been paid out. Don't the wild swings, they can be exciting if they go your way, but that's not a way to build a consistent business. And I think what a lot of people forget is that if you're doing this right, this is and should be a form of a business, whether it's a side hustle, whether it's the primary, but treat it like a business, act responsibly, act in a way that is going to consistently generate the type of results that you're looking for.
That's my biggest advice, is to slow down, and trade smaller, and adjust and learn. And that's another thing. If you look at the market every single day, and I think you should focus on one market, like I'm trading a micro ES.
Right.
And I think you ought to focus, because certain times of the day, the market moves different. Like the first few minutes in the morning is just crazy. About 9:50 or so, it settles out, and it's usually some type of turn. And then somewhere around 10:30, there's usually some type of turn. And then in the evening, sometime around 2:30, there's usually some type of turn. And you get used to these times if you trade in one market. But if you trade oil, and you trading something else, and gold, and you bouncing all over the place, it's hard to know one market really well.
Right. I really, really appreciate your time, Tim, and congratulations once again, not only on your payout that that brought you in here today, but it looks like you got a new payout coming, and we look forward to doing some more of these in the future. And we definitely want to see you back in here for another round of these. That sound good?
Sounds great. It's good talking to you, Gates.
You as well. Thanks, Tim. Have a wonderful rest of your day.